You have to honor that. He gets downhill, probably the easiest layup that he has all night. So now we see the early go. Now we see the slip. Now we see another one where we see Nas Reed is going to be a switch man. We reject this one. We put Nas in the spin cycle, got him doing the Watusi, get downhill, and we lay it up. Easy. So I think the adjustments was just...
I think we're a little bit too lackadaisical and comfortable last game in Game 3, and I think we got beat the way we did because of that, and that was a good wake-up call. So I think that will help for sure. But yeah, it's tough. I would be lying if I said it wasn't. Like, you know how close you are, but yet it's still so far away.
You broke it down so beautifully, UD. He took control in Game 4. He had one of the best games in his conference finals. He finished with 40 points, 10 dimes, something just 7 other players in league history have done, and look at that company. He showed exactly why he was the MVP. Now, on the other side, Anthony Edwards, he went 5 for 13 from the field, including 1 of 7 from behind the arc. It was his second fewest points in a game this postseason. This is all coming after scoring 30 or more in the previous 2 games. Afterwards, he said he doesn't really look at it like he struggled in this game. Well, here's Stephen A. Smith earlier on First Take on Anthony Edwards' post-game comments.
Here's my deal. Are you the superstar player you proclaim to be or not? The fact of the matter is that Ant-Man is special. We all know this. And you saw how special Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was. That individual pride is what I was looking for. I don't want to hear something like, I made the right play.
They're just looking at Perk, that whole thing. But SGA, or Stephen A's rather, saying that he wants, are you a superstar or not? That's what he's challenging Ant on here. What's your take on that, UD?
I challenge Ant to play the right way. He's trusted his teammates up until this point, those guys that make shots. He got in the paint. He drew so many defenders. They got wide open shots. What I will say is they could have made the same adjustment that OKC made. Go early. Don't even wait for a screen. Attack, get downhill early, get in the paint and make your plays. But in the half court, I think Ant played the game the right way. The next question is, where was Julius Randle? Help me. Help me. And I think that's where they had to drop over. There was no Julius Randle. You look at this team, and this team turned the ball over 20-plus times, gave up 19 offensive rebounds, and only lost by 2. So he played the game the right way.
Yeah, I feel like they didn't lose this game on the offensive end, and if we spend a lot of time focusing on the offensive end, we're missing it. They lost this game because they couldn't get a defensive rebound, and they turned the ball over 23 times. I obviously, you want your guy who one day aspires to be the MVP to be able to overcome certain defenses. We've seen guys do that, and maybe in 2 years, like Shai is 2 years in the league more than Ant, maybe in 2 years Ant does figure that out. But I do not believe they lost this game when they had the ball, and I think focusing on Ant's number of shots and number of points is missing the focus.
I mean, we've criticized Ant early on in his career for not making the right play, going against the double team, taking bad shots. He's in a situation now, he's watched film. He's improved that part of his game. We can't go back now and say, you didn't do that. He played the game the right way.
And why are we talking offense anyway? They scored 126 points, shot over 50% from the field, over 40% from the 3. And UD, you made a great point, and Wendy too. Y'all asked what was Julius Randle. But hell, what was Rudy Gobert's 4-time Defensive Player of the Year? They didn't get stops. What was Jay McDaniels? He didn't get stops. He wasn't making SGA life a living hell in this game as well. This game came down to IQ. Yes. And we see the Oklahoma City Thunder, they have IQ. They pay attention to details. They know what they're going to do. They're tied together on the string. We watch a team in the Minnesota Timberwolves that are undisciplined, that doesn't play, that can't play in the moment. And so that's what ended up with what was the deciding factor in the game. And again, Alex Caruso, the only champion on the floor, and it has shown in this series when he plays valuable minutes. He is basically the anchor of that Oklahoma City Thunder defense when they went small last night.
And now we go back to Oklahoma City with the Thunder up 3-1. Brian, it would be easy for Minnesota to lay down. They know the history. It is very difficult to overcome a 3-1 lead, particularly when you have to go and beat a 68-win team 3 more times, especially in their home building. Sure. But what adjustments can Minnesota make to try to take this? Well,
they were down 3-0 last year, and they won in Dallas. I've seen them. This is not a team that quits. I talked at the beginning of the series about the double teams on Shea that we saw it the last time they played in the regular season at Oklahoma City. They double teamed Shea. They ran essentially a triangle in two where they would pinch him at the top of the key and force the ball out of his hands. It is an exotic defense. I am not arguing that I think it would necessarily work if you wanted to play it the whole game, but I am surprised that they haven't gone back to this with how successful it was in that short spurts. I'm sure that the Thunder have prepared for it, but this way you're forcing the ball out of the MVP's hands, and if you get beat by Alex Caruso and Case and Wallace hitting threes, then you tip your cap and say we'll see you next.
Well, that's too late. This is over with. Let's be real. No, this one is over.
It's over.
It's over. Y'all, you haven't been there. But Malika, Wendy, you been in that arena. Y'all thought it was loud. Y'all wait to see how loud it's going to be in there tomorrow.
But I still have to imagine, whatever the end result of Game 5 is, and no matter what Anthony Edwards said, we know this young man, and he is going to be aggressive in a way that we haven't seen. There's a reason why, and you guys know this better than Brian and I do, that closeout games are the hardest to win, particularly when in the conference finals and in the NBA finals, because that's when you get teams, you get a different side from players, especially great players, which Anthony Edwards is on his way to being. So what do you expect from him here in Game 5?
All gas, no breaks. He has to take a page out of SGA book. He has to go early and often. In semi-transition,
like Game 3.
Yes, you have to look for gaps in early transition, and you have to attack those gaps. Before the defense gets back, before they can get set, we don't need no damn screen. I am the guy that creates the mismatch, and I will get everybody going.
Ain't gonna happen. Let me explain why. I know they put up 126 points last night, but we're watching one of the best defensive teams in NBA history at home. I told y'all in Game 7 that OKC was gonna smoke them like a fresh pack of Newport shorts. They're going to do the same thing in Game 5. I'm telling you this right now. It's not going to even be close tomorrow. That's how ready this team is going to be.
They only lost by 2.
Who?
They only lost by 2.
In Game 7, I told Malika on Countdown they played the Nuggets that they were going to get smoked in Game 7, and they did.
So I tell you this. You take away half of those turnovers and half of those offensive rebounds, and a 2-point game is a 10-point win for Minnesota.
Yeah, but you was at home, but now you're on the road in that arena.
Minor adjustments.
Well, you know the next word between two grown men when they disagree, the next word is bet.
Nah, because he's going to win. He knows it's going.
All right, let's go from the NBA to the W here. Some news now. Yesterday, the Indiana Fever, they announced that Caitlin Clark will be out a minimum of 2 weeks with a left quad strain. Here she is today at practice, getting some shots up. Now, Fever coach Stephanie White, she spoke earlier about the team's approach without their star for the next few weeks. Take a listen.
There's varying levels to how you see the game as a player in year 1, 2, and as a player in year like 9, 10, and as a coach and assistant coach and all of those things. So it gives her an opportunity to see it from a different lens. And you look at injuries that happen, especially early in the season. It gives you opportunities to build confidence in your depth. It gives you opportunities to see what you can look like down the stretch, because when you're playing, in the end of